Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Our chapter is map reading and interpretation. We are discussing about these topographical maps, and so far we've covered some of the relief features or these physical features that we can see on our Earth's surface and how they can be shown by various contours on the topographical maps. So today we move on to the other features. Specifically, we'll start with this one, the escarpment. An escarpment, this is just a very steep side of an elongated highland. So that kind of a steep side that you can see on the Earth's surface of a given elongated highland is what we call an escarpment. Now, it is formed through the process of faulting, which is the one called the fault scrap. So this kind of relief feature is formed when there's a faulting process that is called the fault scrap is what leads to this escarpment. Now, loosely, the name is just used to refer to the whole island with the very steep these slopes on one side, a plateau on top, and the gentle slopes on the opposite sides. So that's also loosely how this can be referred to. Now, on the topographical maps, an escarpment is shown by closely packed contours on the scrap side that forms a scrap slope, and more widely spaced contours on the opposite side called the dip slope. So you can see in this topographical map how the escarpment can be shown by these closely packed contours that can be shown on this side, the scrap side, which just forms the scrap slope, and just more widely spaced contours on the other side or the opposite side called the dip slope. And the steep side forms a concave slope while the dip slope is fairly even. So you can see the fairly even slope in the dip slope, and the steep side it just forms this kind of a concave slope. So that's all can be showing the escarpment in the topographical maps. Now, the tops of the some escarpments form the plateaus, while others, especially smaller ones, they form these various ridges. So the tops of these escarpments can be noticed, like some can form the plateaus, which can be very flat, especially, but some can form these ridges, especially when they are smaller ones. So the larger ones will tend to form the plateaus, while the smaller ones will tend to form these various ridges. And here is how the escarpments they can be shown on the topographical maps. As you can see, they closely packed the contours, and they are a little far apart contours are packed. And here is how this shows the closely packed will deeply or we just show the escarpment and a concave slope, as we've said to the from the notes, and the deep slope will be shown by these gently far packed contours. So all this is how the escarpment can be shown on the topographical maps. So that's all for escarpment. Moving on, let's see the plateau. A plateau, this is just an upland covering a considerable covering a considerable large area, and whose top surface is just almost flat. So that's what plateau is. It's just an upland where it can cover a huge area or a large area, and whose surface whose top surface you can notice is just almost flat. So there's no like slopes up that kind of a top or upland surface. Now, it is bordered by steep slopes that lead to lower ground or may rise into the surrounding mountains. So that's the plateau. It can be broadly showing the these steep slopes that lead to a lower ground, or else yes may have the rise into the other surrounding mountains. So that's what we call the plateau. Now, on topographical map, a plateau is shown as a wide area surrounded by a common contour of the same height, or two contours that are of the same height on both sides. So that's how the plateaus they can be shown on the topographical maps: a wide area surrounded by the contours of the same height, or just two contours that are of the same height on both sides. And here is how the plateau can be shown. As you can see, these contours that are apart from each other. This will show just the slopes. Here will be the steep slope as the contours are closely packed, and here we'll have a gentle slope as the contours are a little bit far apart from each other. Now, the plateau is just this the flat surface at the top of these slopes. So that's all I have for this session of the Scriven. We've discussed these two features, the escarpment and the plateau. We've seen how they occur, especially on our earthy surface, and how you can show them on the topographical maps. So that's clear, and thank you.